Hello, everyone. Happy Mindset Mondays. This is Eris Creates with Artpreneurs.com, where I teach independent artists and creatives how to never have to choose between their art and their income again. And I think that is a noble cause. I think a lot of people have to choose between, holding down a job that they hate or a position in life that they don't like because they gave up something that they cared about. I hear it a lot from my audience. I hear it from my clients. I hear it from all kinds of places, especially in the arts, because it's the one area where we give ourselves up a lot. We give our dreams up early on in life when we're told that we can't make it. Now, if you're watching live, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think of the content. Give me a quick note in the chat, and I might not be able to see who it is until afterwards, but I love to see it. And if you're watching a replay, drop a 2 in the comments. I always love to know that you're coming circle back around and I can say hey and let you know what you might have missed or some of the other things that are going on. Today, I actually want to talk about very specifically, hello to whoever said hi to me. Thank you very much. Because I really love your love this morning. I had a really rough weekend, but we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about something else for now. And I want to tell you guys that I think a big question on all our minds is like, what is this building a personal brand thing about? It's become really apropos recently to be told that if you're going to have a business, it needs to be about you. It needs to be about who you are and what you're doing in the world right now. It's just become such a thing with social media. Everything's been so transparent in so many ways. And on the other hand, tech allows us to hide a lot too. So I'm going to talk about the balance between those two things and why building a personal brand could be actually good for you, even though it may be scary. And I can tell you from personal, experience that I was not sure that I wanted to be the face of Artpreneurs, despite the fact that it's my idea, that it's my passion, that it's everything I stand for. I didn't want to have to be the person who was on all the time, who was out there doing the stuff like this. Just getting on and going live on a regular basis is a real stretch for me because I'm an introverted person who wants to protect my time. I have to. I have a number of issues that keep me from being able to be consistent with my schedule. And so I found, though, that if I really wanted to launch this the right way, if I really wanted to see my dream come to fruition, that building a personal brand around it, building it with me in mind and me being the face of it and showing the passion that I have for that business was important. Now, is that the same as building a personal brand? Not necessarily. In fact, I want to just kind of clear the air a little bit. Like, what is building a personal brand? It goes beyond being the face of your business, actually. The reason why I want to make this distinction is because when you build a true personal brand, you're building a brand around you, not a business or a project that you're after, but you're building a brand around who you are, what you stand for. In fact, I got a couple of tips and tricks for you today, even though it's Mindset Monday. This is tips and tricks about the mindset behind building a personal brand. So essentially, it's about you. It's about knowing who you are. You need to understand who you are and what you stand for and what you stand against in the world for you to build a brand. Because when you build a brand, you're building those exact things. Whether you're doing it for yourself or a business that you're operating, you know that you need to have brand friends and enemies. So importantly, you need to understand what you care about. And I often talk about this with people in my circle, in my membership, people who come across my trainings. You need to understand your values. Your values are defined by the things that you care about, that you want to see in the world, and that you want other people to understand better so that hopefully we all rise up and have better behaviors. When you can define your values, it's one piece of the picture to having a brand that's around you, because your business will follow. Your business is going to follow the values that you hold because you're the one that's going to create that. In fact, I always suggest you look at a business like an outlet for yourself. Now, I talk to creatives all day long. We understand creative outlets. Some people call them creative expressions or disciplines or even media, right? All the way down to what exactly am I doing to show who I am in the world? You might, express yourself through dance, or you might write, or you might draw or paint or sculpt or make 3D models. It doesn't matter. The point is, we're all creatives and we have an identity, and we do it differently than anyone else. And that is really kind of touching on what a personal brand truly is. Now, if you can build a personal brand, which isn't just about values, by the way, it's also about showing up to be who you really are, saying the things you really need or want to say in the world, and not being afraid of doing it. And it's a tough thing to face the world as someone who is completely authentic to who you are. You're putting yourselves in a vulnerable position. People can judge that. People can say things, and they often do. So we have a current problem in the world where people feel that it's totally okay to destroy someone else with their deconstruction of who a person is or what they look like or how they act or what they think. And that's something that you have to face when you're creating a personal brand, because you're going to have to stand for something and you're going to have to be against something. And there's going to be a lot of people who are on the other side, and that's okay. When you build a personal brand, though, you align a number of people with you. In fact, that becomes what they call your tribe. So the mindset behind this is really understanding that there are people out there who like you, whether you've connected with them, found them or not. That is your quest. As a personal brand builder, it is actually your job to put yourself out there in such a way that people can find you. People are waiting for your leadership. They're waiting to understand that there's others out there like them. Just like you may feel isolated or out of place, they often feel the same way. So it's important, and I can say this, I can sit here and say this to you guys, and I know how hard it is to feel it and to understand it. But until you take the leap and you get a little bit of courage to show the world who you are, no one will ever find you. They won't know that you're out there to be found. And that's some of the biggest tough stuff, is just taking the first few steps, being consistent and showing people that you are showing up, and you're showing up as you authentically, that people can say, okay, I don't like that thing, but I actually agree with that other piece of you. And I'm okay with coming along for the ride with that one. So building a personal brand also can protect you from life's shifts and changes. You know, if people know what you are and what you stand for, and not just what you do and the business you just made, then you can actually take them along to the next step of your life and your iteration. So I've got a friend, Natalie Sisson, who is known as the suitcase entrepreneur. And I've watched her over the last few years shift her life completely. And she used to travel. She was a digital nomad, and she taught people how to do what she did, living around the world, changing her location quite often, living out of a suitcase essentially. But, you know, as life does, something changed and she fell in love. She settled down, and now she's actually building a family. She bought a home. Would you believe it? She bought a home that she stayed in for a few years. What happened to her business? Oh, these people went along with her, because guess what? It was her story. It was her that they were following, not the thing that she was teaching or the business that she had created. Even though some people may feel like they were drawn to the business, they also knew who she was and what she was about. And she was able to explain, why did I make this shift in my life? And how did I move from this one thing to this next thing? And it makes sense to me because I know what I stand for, right? Because she knows her values. That's such a powerful thing to be able to do. Gary Vaynerchuk did the same thing. Someone a little more famous that you might know. Gary Vaynerchuk used to talk about wine, guys. Used to talk about wine. Wine. Was it about the wine? No. It was about his passion. It was about his skills. It was about him understanding how to connect with people and build social media presence and create a business that was successful through it. So he was easily able to parlay his experience with building that business through talking about wine, because the wine was the vehicle, not the outcome, not the skills or anything. He decided he wanted to shift into business coaching after that, basically, and he did. He did it very successfully. And now he teaches people what he knows, and people like him for who he is. The fact that he runs around saying fuck all the time and doesn't give a fuck, basically. And people like that, right? People like that because they think, oh, that's refreshing. That's different. And I like it because he's being who he really is. If I was standing in a circle at a bar with him, he's the same guy that I see on, you know, his lives and his little clips on his media. And that's what people like. They want to understand that you really are who you are. Is it like the most disgusting thing to find out that your idol, who's always on some sort of media showing how polished and beautiful they are, and then you get a glimpse of them being abusive or horrible to some server or something in a restaurant, just for example. And then you realize, oh my God, I've been following this person thinking they were a kind, generous human being. And they got caught off guard and they were a shitty person, terrible person. And I would never want to follow that. And you see that in some of the recent movements with Me Too and the unfortunate racism that we've been seeing a lot. It's a big deal, guys, to show up authentically. You're standing against those things because you, just by virtue of being you and doing it consistently, are being better than some of those people who have created all of this polished look of who they are. And they want you to swallow that. They want to use that to manipulate you to like them better, because somewhere deep in their core, they aren't really happy with who they are. So they're going to present a nice polished version of who they are and hope that you never find out that there's little tiny cracks or there's dirt in the corners. So just by being your amazing and beautiful and awesome creative self, people do love you. And they may not be able to show it in all of the ways when you're just a talking head on a Facebook Live or an Instagram reel or whatever it is that you're putting yourself out there. But there's an audience out there that needs to hear from you. And so I really hope that you will take some time to understand who you are and build a brand around that can withstand the changes in your life and business. So no matter where you end up, no matter where you go with it, no matter what next step your life brings to you, like going from being a full-time traveler to now a stay-at-home mom or whatever that story is for you, that you're comfortable making that shift and you have a beautiful tribe of people who want to go along with you. Hopefully some of you guys want to go along with me. And I have some place to go right now. I have the Artpreneurs Summit coming up next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend. And I'd love to give you a free pass because there's so many perspectives that I bring together with all of the people that I've got. So I've got almost 35 different speakers coming to talk to you guys about this stuff, mindset, and also the little stuff that takes you step by step through processes that you need in your creative career or your art business. And I'd love to have that. I'd love to have you be there to experience that. We have some live networking and some other opportunities. And of course, you're always welcome to grab a VIP pass and to be a part of that. So thank you very much for the summit. Looks amazing. Whoever said that. It is going to be amazing. It'll be more amazing if you're there. I'm going to leave you guys a link in the comments so you could grab your free pass. Please do so. I want to see you there. And finally, maybe we can catch each other face to face in one of those bits of the summit that's happening over the June 24th through 27th weekend. Yeah, so I hope you guys are becoming, my tribe, my fans, even though it's a really hard thing, I think, to be putting myself out there and hoping that you'll like it. I hope you do. Let me know what you want to hear next and what you'd love answers for. We also have some opportunities for some of our guest experts to answer some of the questions you have during the summit. So now's a good time to start asking those questions. All right, guys, have a great week. Talk to you soon and hopefully see you at the summit.